Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, we have got a big top story today for you. The explosive op-ed in the New York Times. President Trump demanding to know the name of the author who wrote the scathing essay, which included inflammatory statements like this one. Quote, given the instability many witnessed, there were early whispers within the cabinet of invoking the 25th Amendment, which would start a complex process for removing the president. But no one wanted to precipitate a constitutional crisis. That's just one statement from this thing. Let's bring in Republican strategist Amy Tarkanian. She joins us now from out west. Erich Reimer of Nueve Horizons is joining us as well. Guys, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Where to start with this one? Amy, let me start with the who. So we already know that the White House is looking at about a half a dozen names because they want to find out who wrote this scathing editorial. And we don't know. This person was in the administration. That doesn't necessarily mean the White House. It could be someone that he appointed in the administration. I give you this quote and ask you who you think this could be because he said, or she said, that is why many Trump appointees have vowed to do what we can to preserve our democratic institutions while thwarting Mr. Trump's more misguided impulses until he is out of office. We, Amy, what does that tell you? Who do you think this could be?
You know, unfortunately, it goes deeper than I think the public realizes. I have a very good friend who actually works for the Department of Interior, and when I visited him, he would walk down the hall and show me, you know, this office is being held by somebody who's from the Obama administration. This one over here is the Bush administration. This one you can't even whisper, you know, anything in front of. There are so many people that still currently work under this administration that do not like the current president. I don't know why they choose to remain in those positions, but it's deeper than we thought. And I think it's going to be more than a half dozen to a dozen people they're going to have to investigate.
Interesting, Eric. And you know, too, I mean, Kellyanne Conway was on Laura Ingraham's show last night. Obviously, I think this is going to give us, and we're going to listen to what the administration's defense is going to be on this. Listen.
There are op-eds like that in the New York Times every day. It's just a different byline, or I guess a non-byline here. I just have to correct the record. It's not clear to us anyway that it's somebody in the White House. So they're saying senior administration official. That could be many people. There are, I think, thousands of political appointees, hundreds of folks who would qualify under that title alone.
I don't know, Eric. Is she kind of saying there nothing to see here?
I mean, very possibly, yes. I mean, certainly there's, you know, millions of people who work in the federal government, thousands of presidential appointees, and the kind of clarification we have on this is very, very vague. However, nonetheless, I do think it is a very serious undermining of presidential authority. I mean, the president has every right to expect people who work in his administration, especially at supposedly senior levels, to be loyal to the administration, to the president, to the office of the president. And I think in some ways, even though the op-ed does talk about them supposedly trying to prevent a constitutional crisis, in some ways, like, their actions here actually are pushing in the direction of a mini constitutional crisis, and so I think
it could be, Amy. But you know, let's bring up that issue of the 25th Amendment. This has happened before. Not, you know, I mean, look, Woodrow Wilson was very ill in the end of his presidency. There was talk about the 25th there. Ronald Reagan, there were reports that say that at the end of his presidency, he was getting a little foggy. There was chatter about it, but none of that ever happened. Even Nixon, who was known to be depressed and drinking at the end before he left office in scandal. The 25th Amendment, though, pretty serious charge that was brought up in this editorial.
Well, this has been going on since day one of his presidency. You've had a number of Democrats crying for impeachment on a daily basis. So this is not a surprise. And I think what we need to remember is let's look at the 2 years of all of the success that this administration has had.
Right.
This president has campaighed on a number of promises that he's following through with.
And he said,
and you may not like his style, but he's getting it done.
He said that, and we played that soundbite earlier. I don't have much time, Eric. Last word to you, really quick. The Woodward book, Omarosa's book, Bob Corker has made similar statements. How big of a problem is this for the administration?
I mean, I think people are very used to books about the administration and unsourced material. I mean, here there seems to be some source materials. I mean, the fact is, you know, nobody agrees with the president 100%. They talk about things in confidence and et cetera. But in the end, looking at the actual results of the administration, I think, you know, everyone's been on board for that. And I mean, no one agrees with anyone on everything.
No,
so
that's certainly true. That's why it's a democracy. Amy Tarkanian and Erich Reimer, great to have you both here. Thanks, guys, so much.
Fresh. Thanks so much.
Well, taking a look at shares of Twitter and Facebook and Google parent Alphabet.